Hey, friends. So I'm really excited to share this with you. I think this is a training that you're going to come back to over and over. So last week, my training was on rewiring your nervous system, your brain, your body, your biochemistry, as well as your identity for infinite possibilities. And so now I'm carrying on this topic by giving you a step-by-step process to essentially start to change your current reality and train yourself to become a match for the life, the business, the wealth you desire. This training today is all about the step-by-step process of creating a life without limits. So before I dive into it, I'm going to introduce myself just in case you're new. Hi, I'm Ilsa. I'm a complete spiritual nerd. I'm a dog mama. I'm a book lover. Actually, I'm more than a book lover. I'm a bookworm. I'm a nature lover and I'm a bookworm. I'm really quite a little bit of a hermit and a nerd overall, but that's okay. I live in Boulder, Colorado with my husband and our two dogs. Professionally, for the last 20 years or so, I've worked as a psychotherapist, an expansion expert, and a strategist. I marry neurology with energy, with identity, and with strategy to help my clients, which tend to be high-level service providers, leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners. I help them tame the chaos, both internal and external, because God knows there's a lot of it right now, and move past any kind of barriers that have been keeping them small and constricted and have kept their income and their growth capped. If you would like to experience this absolutely transformative work for yourself, I want to invite you to check the description in this training. I've got like 2 or 3 options of how you can go deeper, some paid, some free. I essentially help my clients rewire their nervous system, their brain, their bodies, their businesses for easeful growth, for consistent results, and for exciting and truly delightful new level of money and growth in their life and in their business. And it's really important for me that I really teach people how to do that without overwhelm, without doubting themselves or second guessing themselves at every turn, without having to stress or to sacrifice what matters most to them. And when you can create what you want without that overwhelm, without that doubt, without that sacrifice, then you completely shift your receivership paradigm and you start to be able to create and receive without sabotage. So that's what I'm all about. All right, so let's get going with this training. So reality is always dancing with us, but we don't realize that. We don't realize that we're actually in control. Like in this dance that reality is doing with us, we're picking the music, we're picking the steps, we're choosing what kind of dance and the rhythm at which we want to move. And reality essentially matches us. So most of us feel like it's the other way around. We feel like external circumstances are what is defining our mood, our energy, our level of success and achievements, and how we move through the world, how we feel being ourselves. And what happens is that the more we feel that we are at effect, meaning we're being the follower of life, we're the victim, and things are happening to us rather than from us, then that becomes a feedback loop. It becomes a vicious cycle. Because the more we feel like the way we're feeling is based on what's happening, the more we feel that, and then the more we feel that, we actually create more of it. So what we have to realize is that the results you see today, the tangible results, the reality, your reality, the way it is showing up for you, the reality you see today, the experiences that you are having today are actually the ripples of past identities and past choices. They're the ripples of a way of being and thinking and believing and a nervous system expansion or contraction level that you had in the past, and the actions and the habits you put in place in that past. Because reality is always a little bit of a step behind, it takes longer to see ourselves mirrored in our reality. So we don't realize that we actually created that in some ways, because what created our current reality was a way that we were acting and behaving and feeling potentially a month, 2 months, 3 months in the past. And by the way, that is also true in the opposite direction. So, it's really common for my clients to say to me, "Oh, Ilsa, a client like showed up out of nowhere, or suddenly I got like 3 new clients. I don't know where they came from." And they're not realizing that what they're seeing today is the momentum of potentially a campaign or something they did a month or 2 ago, and they felt like that campaign flopped and didn't work, but actually they're now starting to see the results of that momentum. So this takes a lot of trust from us. It takes trust in knowing that if we're showing up powerfully, if we're doing something now, our short-term results don't matter, because we're going to see the results of that trickle in later. What the flip side of that is also, it's an invitation to essentially, especially if things are not working the way you want them right now, it's an invitation to forget what you're seeing and choose anew. Choose who you want to be, what you want to create, how you want to feel now. Anchor that, start showing up as that, and allow time to catch up with you in your near future. So this training, to some degree, is an invitation for reset. It's an invitation that I am making to you to essentially, if things are going well, congratulate yourself for the work you have done so that you could be here. And if things are not going well and you're not feeling great, release it. Drop it. Stop making stories about it. Stop allowing it to define who you are, because it's not defining who you are in the present unless you decide that. It's defining who you were in the past. So you drop it, you release it, and you decide anew, you reset, so that you can create something different in the future that's coming up. So if you want to change your reality, your current experiences, your current results, you have to change who you are being right now. And you have to change how you're responding to your current reality. You have to make it insignificant. You have to neutralize whatever friction seems to be happening externally, and not claim it as yours, and not claim it as the truth of where you're going. As I like to say, you can't create the future you desire by being at war with the present. So this is where the neutral aspect, like, you thank reality for showing you who you used to be and where you used to be and what you used to do. And then you come back to presence. You come back to regulation of your nervous system. You come back to spaciousness and aliveness in your body. And you choose what it is that you want to do. When you start to make decisions in the present based on the future you desire, and you let possibility be your guide, the reality that you desire and that you're working towards becomes inevitable. But if you make decisions about who you are and what you're doing and how you're feeling and what's possible based on what you're seeing right now and where you are today, then where you are is what perpetuates. It's what keeps on being created, and it's what remains. So let's go to my 5-step process. I'm going to give you a 5-step process to not only reset yourself and your reality, but show you how to start anew and how to anchor a new reality and how to make sure that you are at cause rather than at effect. Meaning that you don't feel like a victim of circumstances anymore. You become the creator of circumstances. You are in creation rather than in reaction. And you start to design your life, your business, and your wealth from that power, from that sovereignty, from that creative genius within you. And you start to create what you want rather than what has been. So before I give you the 5 steps, the first fundamental piece that I want to remind you of, because this is not new, you've heard me say this before if you've watched my videos. Decisions and actions that are taken from a place of lack, from a place of scarcity, from a place of contraction, always create results that are scarce, that are lacking, and that lead back to more contraction. Scarcity, contraction can never create prosperity and expansion. Just like you can never plant an orange tree seed and end up with apples in the end. It's never going to happen. So your first big work, and in many ways what I'm going to teach you in these steps is all about that. Your first big work is to make sure that the right fuel is motivating you, that you are operating from power, from sovereignty, from freedom, and that the part of you that is showing up, that is making decisions, is essentially anchored in expansion and is calibrated for the results that you desire. Not what has been, but what's coming. Essentially, to use a metaphor I used in the training last week, you want to make sure that it's not 4-year-old you, it's not wounded you that is at the wheel of your Ferrari. You want to make sure that the version of you who is driving the boat, who is showing up, is an adult, is sovereign, is whole, knows that what she desires is possible and that she belongs in this damn car or on this damn boat. There's a claiming that's happening. And you want to do that. You want to calibrate. You want to make sure the right identity is showing up, because if not, you will block yourself and you will sabotage your progress left and right, because something in you will not feel worthy, will not feel ready, will not feel like it is safe to have the future you desire. So basically, the step-by-step process is actually about making sure that that happens. So let's get to it. Step 1. The first step is you actually have to decide what you want. Duh. It sounds silly, but I think a lot of us don't have a clear destination, or we have a destination that's been fed to us. And so you want to take a minute to really feel into what is your goal, what is your destination, is it really truly yours? And will it truly nourish and light up your soul in the way you think it will? And then choose a destination that truly nourishes you and really honors who you are. Not your coach, not your mentor, not what people what other people are saying, not what your husband or your wife or whomever thinks it should be. Yours. Like, I'm going to give you an example. This was kind of years ago, but I invested into this program quite a few years ago that was quite a lot of money. And everything about this mentor, I was working one-on-one solely at the time. And everything about this mentor was getting me to launch a group program, which I did launch, by the way. But I had a lot of resistance. And in the end, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. I launched it the first time. I got a bunch of people in it at like a really low, like, I don't know, like initial members kind of fee. And then I was never able to sell another slot in it because the moment I started running the group, I realized it didn't feel good. It didn't feel nourishing. And so I had to release what I thought I wanted, which had been fed to me by someone else, and actually start to get really clear about what is it that I really want. And then from that point forward, I created what I call a hybrid, which is what I have today. Essentially, everyone gets one-on-one time with me. And I also have, 2 to 3 groups a month to practice together and to answer questions for people who want extra support. But from my perspective, I have a core foundational curriculum. I have practices I give people. I have expansion experiments to help them shift into a new way of being and a new identity. And then I have one-on-one sessions with me to really customize this to their level. And that is the core of my group. And then I have, or my program, and then I have the mini retreats, the group access that is extra, it's bonus, it's extra support for those who want it. So the first thing I had to get clear is really what I wanted to do and what I wanted to lead and the kind of business I wanted. If not, nothing worked and everything felt really hard. So that's step one. Really decide what it is that you want and make sure it's really yours and that's really what you want. The second step is once you have what you want, step 2 is about rewiring your nervous system to find increased safety with what you desire. And that's not totally true. You rewire your nervous system to feel increased safety with who you are, with where you are right now, really anchoring a sense of feeling of trusting your own journey, trusting yourself, trusting where you are, trusting that everything's going to work out. And then you start to also anchor in trust and safety towards what you desire. So, and the reason we do this is because if you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, dysregulated, or afraid that your goal, your desire will come at too big of a cost, or that you're not ready for it, or you won't be able to replicate it, or whatever it is, if there's any kind of friction or resistance, or it feels like too much, then you won't be able to move forward. Something in you will be in a pattern of resistance and in a pattern of sabotage. So inner safety and relaxation first, both in this moment. It has to be okay for you to be you. It has to be okay for you to be here. And then it has to be okay for you to want what you want. Now, in my program, in the expansion experience, I have a ton of different practices that I use my clients, that I use to help my clients do that, to really bring safety and feel at home within themselves, feel at home in this moment, feel at home within their journey so that they release all that resistance and friction. But for the purpose of this training, I want to give you a small place to start. So the first thing I want you to do in regards to your goal, I'm going to focus this on your goal. Once you've chosen what you want, I want to invite you to make a list of everything your mind, your naysayer, is coming up with as to why what you desire will be hard, why it will take a long time, why it's not safe, why you're not ready or worthy for it, why it will come at a cost or is not possible or is unrealistic for you. Essentially, I want you to come up with a list of all the negative shit your mind is saying about what you want to create and why it's not possible or not safe. And once you have your list, I want to invite you to go through each thing that you came up with. And you're going to say what you like for example, I can't have what I want with the level of visibility that I have. Or if I get visible, people will attack me and criticize me and judge me, and it's not going to be safe. So you're going to say what you put down. And I want you to notice that when you say that to yourself, when you say that thought, that belief to yourself, what happens in your body? And more than likely, you should feel some kind of mirror or some kind of resonance of that contracted thoughts in your body. So it is a thought that makes you feel small, and there should be a sense of constriction or contraction that shows up in your body. Maybe you're going to notice a feeling of sadness or frustration or fear, or a sense of going numb that's going to show up in your body. Maybe you're going to notice like a pit in your stomach or some kind of tension or constriction or heaviness in your body. So you want to start paying attention how your body responds to any kind of negativity and any kind of fear-based thinking. And then when you find that constriction in your body, maybe you're tight, your throat feels tight, or maybe you feel some sadness in your chest. Whatever you feel, I want you to put a hand there. And when you put a hand where you feel the constriction, you're basically telling the part of you that feels that way, that feels sad, that feels heavy, that feels scared. You're basically saying to that part of you, I'm here with you. I've got you. So you're going to place a hand where you feel the constriction, and you're going to start to breathe into it. And you can even imagine that your breath is like light pink or gold, some color that for you feels like loving, supportive, nourishing energy. And so you're breathing into that place of tension. You're sending love, you're sending support, you're sending nourishment. And you're going to do that until the physical tension relaxes. And you're going to move through your list. Maybe you do one a day. What you're doing here is you're sending the message to all these parts of you that are still holding on to limits and feel small and feel not good enough or feel afraid. You're sending the message to all these parts of you that they are safe and they are supported. And over time, that will start to rewire your brain as well as your nervous system to sense that what felt impossible or hard is actually okay. It's actually normal. It's natural. And what felt unsafe will start to feel safe and supportive. That's the entire point of this work. So that's step 2. Once you have what you want to notice what's keeping you from making this feel safe. And you want to start to rewire your nervous system for safety, both in your current life and towards the goal, the desire that you have. Third, step 3 is once you feel safe, you want to calibrate somatically for the results that you desire by helping your body start to feel aliveness and spaciousness in response to your goals. So this is moving beyond safety and regulation. We're starting to move into expansion. We're starting to help the body start to become a match for the frequency, the energy, the felt sense of your goal, and to start to increase its capacity, your nervous system capacity, your brain's capacity, your belief system's capacity, your body's capacity to create it, welcome it, receive it, and hold it. What we're doing as we're becoming a match, when you're thinking of your goal and you're allowing your body to feel relaxed with it, to feel alive and joyful about it, to feel grateful for it, what you're doing is that you're allowing the outcome, the results, the reality you desire to start to feel familiar in your body, to start to feel like second nature, like expected. And here's a piece of wisdom that I want you to remember. If you remember nothing else from this training, this is the thing I want you to remember. If it doesn't feel normal and natural in your body, you won't be able to make it your new normal in your reality. If it doesn't feel normal in your body, you will not be able to make it your new normal in your reality. So in the expansion experience, I have a main core practice that I take people through to rewire them for the results they want, to become a match, to normalize those results in their body, to increase their capacity for it. I can't do that with you in here, but I'm going to give you something else, a mini version of it, so to speak. So what I want you to do at this level is I want to invite you to imagine that you have what you want. And as you imagine it, I want you to invite your body to intentionally relax and open, to relax in it, to relax with it, to open towards it. So you're imagining having your goal already true, already experienced as a normal reality. And as you're doing that, you're kind of moving through your body and you're noticing, where do you feel like joy and aliveness and gratitude? And at the same time, you are also noticing where there is tension. And wherever you feel tension, you are breathing in it and inviting your body to relax. So it takes a little bit more out of you, because you're doing two things at the same time. You're being in the reality of your goal and feeling it, and you're noticing wherever your body is still tense, and you're inviting that area of your body to relax, to open. And then if you feel joy, you're allowing that joy to, like, I almost want you to think as the tension you feel in your body, it's like a pocket in your body where the joy can't go, where your reality can't inhabit. And so as you start to imagine your reality and you notice, oh, like there's tension in my shoulders, and you start to breathe in your shoulders and invite relaxation in your shoulders, then suddenly it's like you feel your shoulders open and release. It's like the joy of your reality, of the dream that you're building, literally starts to be able to suddenly move into your shoulders. So this specific practice that I'm giving you is not so much about aliveness as much as it is about creating spaciousness. Spaciousness in your body, releasing chronic tension, releasing resistance, releasing tension and knots in the body is what allows you to increase capacity and to fill yourself with the frequency, the felt sense, the emotion, the reality of your goal. And when that happens, when the entirety of your body feels like your goal is here, and there's a sense of safety, and there's a sense of normalness, and there's a sense of like, of course, expectation, that's when a lot of the friction, a lot of the procrastination, a lot of self-sabotage, a lot of the things feeling hard or like there's shit in the way starts to dissolve, and you're able to create what you desire significantly faster and with more ease. So that's step 3, somatic calibration, getting your body to create spaciousness and aliveness around what you desire so that it can become a match and it can normalize it in your body and it can increase your capacity for it. Step 4, once you're in that place, so step 4 is you're going to ask your body, the expansion you feel in your body, the openness of your body, you're going to ask your body for your next step. And you're going to ask for your body for your next step from this place of spaciousness, of aliveness, of calibration, of normalization. And the reason we want to do this is because most of us try to figure out what to do from up here. And we find our minds spinning, trying to figure out the how, throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something will stick and will make sense. Or we're frozen, waiting for clarity to arise and not taking any action. Meanwhile, your boundless body, which is, by the way, what you activate when you do step 2 and 3, meaning step 2 is about safety. You anchor in regulation and safety. Step 3 is about actually increasing spaciousness and aliveness, releasing any leftover resistance, and becoming a match, normalizing what you want in your body. When you do that, you activate what I call the boundless body. It's the body that is anchored in infinite possibilities. So your mind doesn't know the way, but your body knows. Your body always has the most aligned, easeful, and expedient path forward to the goal, to the desire that you have. So in step 4, essentially, when you've done step 2 and 3, you've anchored safety, you've anchored spaciousness and aliveness. Your body feels relaxed, open, joyous. It feels like what you want is totally possible and it's normal and expected. Then in that moment, when you have activated your boundless body, you have access to your innate brilliance. You have access to what I call your right brain genius. Literally, when you're anchored in relaxation and aliveness in that way, and you feel totally aligned and in resonance with the goal that you want to create somatically, you activate multiple parts of your brain that have the ability to think outside the box, that have the ability to find the missing pieces, that have the ability to see opportunities that you could not see. And you have the ability to awaken and have access to parts of your brain that actually know what you're supposed to do next. So when you're in that place after step 3, you're going to literally ask your body, what do you want me to do today? What do you want me to do this week? How do you want this expansion, this aliveness, this spaciousness, this boundlessness to be expressed in the world? What is my next step? Here's the trick. Over time, you will get better and better at receiving that guidance. You will get better and better at discerning the wisdom and the language of your body. You will get better and better at trusting what you receive, even when it doesn't completely make sense, and at following it. And when you're doing this step 4 and you're asking for what's next, what's my next step? How do you want to be expressed? What do you want me to do? You're going to receive things that are both strategic, like things to do, like go reach out to this person, or create a curriculum that is really simple to follow, which is, by the way, what I'm doing right now in my own program. This program, my business with this specific offer has been going on for like over 3 years. And I've never actually had a clear like quantum expansion curriculum that takes people step by step through it. I was just kind of dropping things here week after week and just allowing things to unfold. And now there's a really clear that came from my body. My pricing came from my body. How I wanted to define my marketing. These trainings come from this place. This training right there that I'm doing about these 5 steps came from my somatic calibration practice and asking, what do I want to talk about in my next training? How do I express this? What do I do that will collapse time and space between where I'm at and where I want to be? And this training about these 5 steps came up for me. And so here you are, you're having it, you're experiencing it. So you're going to get strategic pieces. And you're also going to get energetic and identity-based guidance. Essentially, things to do to help you become the version of you that has the life, the business, the wealth you desire. How to upgrade, how to anchor more into sovereignty. So sometimes when I'm doing this practice and I really want a tangible step, but what I get is do nothing today. See how much joy and spaciousness and freedom you can allow yourself to receive and to have and to experience. If it's not in your appointment book, like if I have a client, obviously I'm going to meet with my client. But if it's not scheduled, you don't have to fill the time. Go for a walk, have fun. Be the version of you who has tons of free time and knows how to enjoy it. So you will get both strategic pieces and you will get qualities that your body wants you to cultivate. Move from ease today. Move from peace today. Whatever happens, choose love today. And both are incredibly valuable for creating the life, the business, the goal, the results, the wealth that you desire. And once you have that guidance from step 4, then your main job is to trust it and to follow it and to take action in direction of it. Now, step 5. Step 5 is a little bit of what I talked about right at the beginning. You want to make sure that your identity, who you are being, and your nervous system, how your nervous system feels inside you, is anchored in expansion and sovereignty and not in smallness and contraction. You want to make sure that you are showing up in a way that is in resonance, a match for what you want. Because that version of you, the version of you who feels small, who feels not enough, who feels contracted, is taking action from the past. It's taking action based on a past identity. The version of you whose nervous system is regulated, who is able to feel expansive, who's able to feel sovereign, that version of you is taking action and serving the future you want. Because as you know, you can't create expansion from contraction, and you can't create abundance and prosperity from lack and scarcity. Step 5, in some ways, like what I've given you today, like step 1 is pick your goal, right? Pick what you want. But step 2, step 3, and step 4 are like a practice. They are things you do to start to calibrate yourself for what you want. Step 5 is what you come back to over and over and over throughout your day. Am I embodying contraction right now? Or am I embodying expansion? Am I being and feeling small? Or am I being and feeling sovereign right now? Which version of me is moving through my life and is operating, making decisions, showing up? Is it the 4-year-old who can't see above the wheel and can't reach the pedal and is freaked out? Or is it the adult who feels totally comfortable driving the Ferrari and feels worthy of it? and feels in control of it. So this is the piece that I do a lot with clients, is always coming back to meeting the parts of us that feel small and not enough, providing the support, the love, providing what I call the missing experience that will allow these parts of us that are still anchored in smallness, still anchored in limitation, still anchored in woundedness, to essentially start to heal, start to feel whole, start to feel sovereign, and start to trust that they are good enough. So what you're doing with step 5 is, as you're moving through your life, you're paying attention and noticing when there's friction, when there's doubt that starts to come up, when your confidence starts to feel leached out, where your energy, your motivation, your excitement, your momentum starts to stall, when fear is coming up. Any kind of contraction, you start to notice when contraction is coming up, and you start to use the tools to bring yourself out of that contraction back into expansion, out of overwhelm, out of freeze, back in overflow, back in trust, back in freedom, out of procrastination and back into motivation and inspiration. Step 5 is primordial. It literally is what gives us the ability to create our goals. It's the moment to moment commitment to lead ourselves through any kind of contraction, through any kind of wobble, and to come back into regulation, into liberation, into expansion, so that we can stop getting in the way of our growth, in the way of what is possible for us. So a lot of the practice in my program around nervous system regulation are about this. They're about meeting the parts of us that feel small, that feel overwhelmed, that feel like it's too much, that feel afraid, and actually providing the missing experience that's going to allow all these parts inside us to feel safe, to feel seen, to feel supported, to feel like expansion is also for them, and to start to move from there. Being able to essentially come out of doubt, come out of feeling drained, come out of overwhelmed, and shift yourself back into flow, into expansion, into freedom, into excitement in minutes. Sometimes 1 or 2 minutes is enough. In the 90-minute Wired for Wealth Intensive, which is in the link in the description of this video as one of the ways that you and I can get started, I actually teach you one of my core practices to be able to do that. I teach you how to shift your mood, your state, your energy level, and bring yourself back into a sense of expansion and freedom in a minute or 2. So if that feels interesting to you, then definitely go check out the Wired for Wealth Intensive. It's one-on-one, 90 minutes with me. It's at a significant discount if you're new to my work, and it will change your life. Like, whether you decide to continue to work with me or not, the practice and the protocol that I teach you in there will change the rest of your life. So let me give you a little something that you can do for this step 5. The first thing to do is to notice when you have gone from expansion and flow to constriction. You want to start to notice when you've started to doubt yourself, when you're procrastinating, when you're feeling stuck, when you're feeling overwhelmed, or whatever is going on with you. And the first step I want you to ask is to really take ownership, because I do think that creating the reality we desire comes from radical responsibility. So the first thing I want you to ask when you notice that you're in contraction, and your energy is drained and you're procrastinating and you're unmotivated and you feel afraid or not good enough, I want you to ask yourself, is the version of me that I am being right now serving the future I desire? Or is it serving an outdated self and an outdated reality that I no longer want? Is who I'm being right now in service to the future that is possible for me? Or is it in service to the past I no longer want, to the reality I no longer want? And you need to own it. You need to own that who I'm being right now is actually creating the opposite of what I'm saying I want and what I'm trying to create. So, for example, I'm going to give you an example. I do all these trainings, right? Like I have a goal that I want to reach. I have a reality that I want where I want, I want at least 5 more clients than what I have right now. I want to invite more and more people to feel at home in themselves, in their realities, to feel like they belong in the world, to feel powerful, to feel sovereign, to feel so safe being themselves that their light just shines. And so I'm doing all this stuff, right? Like I'm posting every day. I'm doing at least 1 training a week if I can. I'm sending 1 to 2 emails every week to my email list with journaling prompts and with like articles I wrote and like copies of these trainings. I'm doing all these things that take a lot of time and a lot of energy. Like creating this training took a lot of time. You can't see it, but I have a bunch of notes right there that I'm following. I had to write out these notes. I had to think about this training. Now I'm doing it live. We're going to start adding up the amount of time I'm spending on providing what I think is valuable transformational content out there in the world. It's a lot. So I'm doing all the right things. But if I start recording these things, creating these things from a place of, oh, I don't know, I don't think anybody's going to like that. Probably no one's going to buy, like this is too long, this is too short, I'm too ugly, no one wants to look at my face. Like if I start to move from unworthiness, from smallness, then it doesn't actually matter how much time and energy I've spent creating all my shit. I have literally like undone all the value that I've put out there to some degree. So step 5 here is an invitation to really decide and commit to taking steps only from the right identity so that you do not essentially rob what you're doing from its power. So step 1 of my little practice for step 5 is ask yourself, right now, the way I'm showing up, the way I'm feeling, the way I'm thinking, is this serving the future and the reality I desire? Or is it serving an old, outdated self and an old, outdated reality I no longer want? And then once you have that and you realize that you're out of alignment, you're out of resonance, then I want you to come back to the practice in step 2. Look for that contraction, the overwhelm, the drain, the doubt, the heaviness, the smallness. Look for that in your body. Where do you feel that in your body? Put a hand on it. Let this part of you that's feeling small right now, that's feeling unworthy, not ready, not good enough, that's feeling like nothing's working, like everything you're doing is for nothing, that no one wants you, no one wants what you have, like whatever. By the way, all those things are things I have felt and I still feel. So this isn't like this shit goes away. We meet it over and over. We put our hand on it. We tell this part of us, I'm right here with you. We send love, we send support, we send this golden, loving, pink energy, whatever you want it to be, through our breath. And if you do the Wired for Wealth Intensive, I'll show you how to provide the missing experience that this part of you might need to feel safe being seen, to feel safe being bigger, to feel safe claiming what you want and moving back into motivation, sovereignty, freedom, expansion. And so you're putting a hand there. You're sending love to that part of you, to the overwhelm, to the fear, to the stuckness, to the frozenness, to the disappointment in you, whatever's going on. And you do that until you start to feel your body relax, until you start to feel the contraction release. And until you're essentially starting to feel yourself move back into regulation. And then once you're there, the last piece I really want to invite you to do is I want to invite you to take some kind of action that is in alignment with expansion, that is in alignment with the reality and the identity you want. Some kind of action that honors who you are becoming and the future you are building. And this is how you start to move from just being in regulation to starting to shift into expansion. Because regulation is just about feeling okay with where you're at. This is not what we're doing. This is not the game. The game is moving you into expansion and becoming a match for what you want. And then the last step I will tell you, this is step 6, but it's an extra step. It's not really part of the step. It's like the final piece. Once you've done all of that, then I want to invite you to become unavailable for anything else, anything less than what your heart really wants. Start to focus on your long-term vision over and over and over. Start to literally not give a shit about anything that is showing up in your present. Any short-term result does not matter. Remember, short-term results are the ripples, the remnants of the past. They do not define who you are now. They do not define the future that is possible for you. You become unavailable for anything that is not honoring the future you desire. You start to set standards in place in your life, in your business, in your relationships that will truly help you anchor into a new receiving reality and a new paradigm of plenty. A paradigm where you are that version of you and your life is that life. Your goals, your big reality that you're trying to create, your desire, demands new standards of being and a new standard of living. So the invitation in this final bonus step is to start to see if the choices you are making and who you are being in every area of your life, not just how you're feeling or how you're showing up in your business, but in every area of your life, is honoring the future that you desire or the past that you have outgrown. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. So how you behave and the standards you have dictate the level of reality that you are playing at. So I'm going to give you another weird and kind of personal example. Recently, I went through my underwear and sock drawer and literally got rid of anything that looked frayed and like it'd been washed one too many times, anything that had a hole in it. I don't care how comfortable it was. I don't care how long I had it. If it looked like shit, it was ready to be released. Because if your underwear and socks have holes, it says something to the standard at which you are living. If you choose the cheapest thing on the menu every single time, it says something about the standards and the level at which you are playing. If you keep saying yes when you really want to say no, that says something about your standards, your sovereignty, your boundaries, and the level at which you are playing. So look at your life and set new standards. Make them a rule by which you play this game of life and this game of business and this game of money. And if you want support with this, I will tell you from full honesty that this last piece, like setting the standard and living by it and not wobbling and not going back to old ways of being and not saying yes when I mean no and not giving extra when I said I wouldn't do that. And that shit has been one of the hardest pieces for me. I know how to do the practices. I know how to organize my life so that I'm doing the practices. I know how to check in with myself and see if I'm in contraction or expansion and move myself back into expansion so that I can create and show up from expansion. Standards in terms of what I charge, standards in terms of what I show up, standards in terms of boundaries I have, all of that has been harder. So I would love to help you with that if that feels fun, both choosing and creating these new standards that are going to essentially totally align with the reality and the identity you are embodying, and essentially helping you move through the discomfort of holding them. I would love to help you do that. And all of it, everything else. So if you're ready to shift out of contraction, if you want to dive into a journey of quantum expansion in partnership with your nervous system, with your boundless body, with your brain, then I would love to work with you. If you want to create such strong, unshakable roots that you're able to break through every barrier you have put in place for yourself, every revenue and success and growth ceiling that you have experienced, and be able to receive and grow from a place of total alignment, from peace, from ease, from joy, then I am your woman. And my work might just be the answers to your prayers. You see, expansion isn't just strategy. It's neurology, it's energy, it's identity. And when I work with my clients, I work on all of that. I work on the strategy because we need that, right? We need the action. But I also work on the neurology, on the energy level, on the identity, so that they're able to choose the right strategy and execute the strategy from the right place. That is what creates the perfect recipes that create miracles. When I work with people one-on-one and in small group settings, kind of retreat style, where we do the work together, and there's also time for answering questions. And I have an entire curriculum, practices, expansion experiments, like step by step of what to do, energy flow practices, what to do on a regular daily basis to completely liberate yourself and rewire yourself for expansion, both financial expansion, but also expansion in terms of how you feel, the amount of joy, the amount of ease that you get to create. Like I always tell people, my goal is for you to make 2 to 3 times the amount of money with 2 to 3 times the amount of free time and the amount of ease and the amount of satisfaction in your life and in your business. So there's a couple ways to get started. I did put my free Wired for Wealth mini course in there. So if you're not ready for us to do work, that will give you a few practices, some things to play with. That's in there. That's totally free. Another way to get started is if you know that this work is for you and I am your person and you're ready to get started now. This is the work you need. You're ready for it. You've got the money for it. You've got the commitment. You will make the commitment because we don't ever have the commitment. We make the commitment. Then I want to invite you to schedule a free 30-minute enrollment call with me. We're basically going to look at your goals. We're going to choose which package works best for you and makes the most sense for you. And we will kind of like get you started and kind of clarify what we're going to focus on in that first like chunk of time that we're going to work together. So this is free. It's an enrollment call. It's about choosing the right package, getting any questions you have answered, and essentially enrolling you and getting you started. If you're not quite ready for that and you want to experience this work, you want to experience what it feels like to work with me, then, like I mentioned in the training, I have this 90-minute one-on-one Wired for Wealth intensive that I offer to new people at a significant saving. And in this intensive, we explore, literally, we discover what are the unique wounds, the unique blocks that are getting in your way, that are holding you back. And then I take you through one of my core protocols to bring your nervous system, your body out of a sense of contraction and to start to move into liberation and expansion. This intensive is all about customizing the process to you and teaching you how to provide yourself that missing experience that's going to allow you to feel safe, secure, worthy for the life that you desire so that you stop sabotaging. And it is a process you will be able to use for the rest of your life, whether you continue to work with me or not. And so you can find the link to both of those calls in the description of this video. I would love to help you design a wildly profitable, super simple, stress-free, if you're an entrepreneur business, if you're not an entrepreneur, way of growth and wealth that is going to give you both a sense of nourishment and freedom, and is going to allow you to really, truly enjoy your life and create the life that you desire. I want to show you how to activate your boundless body so that you can double what you're making and you can break through any kind of barriers that have kept you small, that have kept you silent, that have kept you stuck in some kind of struggle or have kept your income capped. Can you imagine waking up every morning feeling clear, enthused, knowing what to do? Can you imagine being able to shift your mood, your state, your energy level back to excited, motivated, and peaceful in minutes, no matter what life throws at you? That's what I teach you. That's what I show you in this program so that you can take aligned action and you can start to create the results you want without getting in your own way. So we're going to do it all. If you decide to work with me, we'll do it all in resonance and in partnership with your nervous system, with your boundless body, with your brain, so that you can experience maximum flow, maximum freedom, safety, enjoyment, and nourishment through the entire journey. I feel strongly that the entire journey needs to feel like the destination. It's not just about getting to Hawaii and basking in the sun. It's about making sure that the entire journey has an essence of Hawaii in it so that we're never in resistance. We'll activate your most wealthy nervous system and will calibrate your body, your identity, and your business for the receivership you desire. No second guessing, no overwhelm, no sacrifice, no sabotage, no resistance and struggle necessary. It gets to feel easeful, gets to feel natural, it gets to feel nourishing all the way through. So if that feels yummy and something you would like to experience, then please check the description of this video and let's get started. And then I'm going to leave you with one piece of inspirational wisdom that I like to remind people at the end of this training. You have everything you need to succeed inside you. You were designed for success. Success is literally your birthright. You are the most powerful and peaceful force in your life, in your business, in your wealth. You just have to remember that and move from that. Your nervous system, your body, is literally the path that heals your past. And it's also the key to unlocking your potential and the future that is possible for you. Everything, the entire journey, the entire map is inside you. I am not here to give you something you don't have. I am here to help you activate it, remember it, reclaim it. And I would absolutely love to be your guide on this journey to expansion and help you create results that are going to feel good both to your soul and your body and your bank account. Okay, that's me. That's what I got. Mwah. Have a lovely rest of your week and weekend, and I'm sure I will see you next week. Bye.